get started here. So the first thing is, in your Google Docs, you are going to have all of this already formatted, but just some important tip, just throughout ninth, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, you're going to have to know how to set up your typed paper. And so the first step is to look at the margins. And this doesn't look right, it's very narrow. And generally, your margins should be at 1 inch when we're typing. So let's go to page setup, and we're going to work on that right now. So page setup margins, if you look here, I'm going to change those to 1 inch each. Okay, that's step one. Step two is my font. I want to stick to Times New Roman. That's the general suggestion. And also font size 12. That's important. The other part is line spacing. We are double spacing our text so that when we're writing, there's plenty of space. So that's the main part of setting up your typed paper. Now, when we're talking about your heading, that's going to look a little bit different, and we're going to try to format it to MLA expectations. And so here's what I have for you. You have first your name, which should be typed here, the teacher or professor's name, the course name, the due date of the assignment, and the title of your paper. Surname is another word for last name. So, and then the number 1 is just simply the page number. So that I set up, but it's very simple. When I click here, double click on the header, I can click on options and I can select page number, and then here I would just tweak this to match my last name. And then that's pretty much it for your heading. Now let's look at an example just to kind of get started. So we have a student, Lorena Castillo, and notice up here, Castillo 1. That's her last name, the student's last name, and this is page 1. The course or the teacher's name or professor's name, we're going to put the teacher's title, Mrs., and notice S is capitalized, U is capitalized. This is a proper noun. This is the teacher's name, so you got to make sure that the name is capitalized. And then the course is ELD 9.4 or English Language Development 9.4. And the due date for the assignment is May 5th, 2020. The title of the assignment is 10% Summary, September 11th Attacks. And so there we have it. That's our setup. Now let's get started with the typing. So notice how when I press enter, it takes me right to the middle. I need to get back to the end of the page. There we go. And then the other thing is, whenever we're typing a paragraph, we want to indent. And so you're just going to click tab and it'll indent about the amount that you need it to be. So that's it. Now let's get started with typing. So we have our 10% summary here written out. Remember, we have step 1, which are the central ideas, and then we have step 2. We're going to start with step 2 because that is our start sentence. So I'm going to go ahead and start typing in Frackle article September 11th attacks, comma, notice the comma right here. The author explains. Alright, so there's our start sentence. And then we're going to go back to the first central idea, and we're going to take that and put that right in. And so, okay, so I have my period, and then the next thing that I want to mention and emphasize is spacing after your periods. Within a paragraph, you have the option of either spacing once or spacing twice. When I was in college, I kind of used the trick of twice just to kind of push the page limit a little bit. It really doesn't make that much of a difference, but just a tip for you. So you either want to space it once or twice. I'm going to go ahead and space it twice. And then I'm going to start with central idea 1 with my sentence. I don't need to put the topic. So 19. All right, so there's my first sentence. And this is the neat thing about putting these sentences together here. They're ready to just be typed and transferred to a paragraph. So that's it. Now again, I'm going to type or space twice. And just to kind of read it or hear it aloud, again, 19 terrorist militants affiliated with Al-Qaeda attacked the United States because, according to Osama bin Laden, one of the Al-Qaeda founders, the U.S. treated Muslims unfairly. And I don't know if you saw that, but I did miss of up here. So this is the neat thing, again, about taking what you had in your organizer and putting it down typed. You realize some of those mistakes and maybe even reconfigure and rewrite certain parts. All right, so let's continue. Timeline of attacks. Again, you are not going to put the idea or central theme. You're just sticking to the sentence. So 4. Oh, must have spelled it wrong up here. Didn't correct me. All right, so again, my 2 spacings. And let's continue. Right ahead. Heroes and rescuers. So again, double space. Many people. And the last part. Alright guys, so that is pretty much it. Now the other thing is with headings, oftentimes we bold those just so they stand out a little bit. Okay, but that is pretty much it. I'm not sure if we could do a word count here. Yes, we can. So there are our number of words, 138 words. So that's perfect. A little bit over what I had recommended, but it's a solid 10% summary. So again, in Freco article September 11th attacks, the author explains the impact the terrorist attacks had on the United States in 2001. 19 terrorist militants affiliated with Al-Qaeda attacked the United States because, according to Osama bin Laden, one of the Al-Qaeda founders, the U.S. treated Muslims unfairly. 4 planes were hijacked and crashed into the World Trade Center in New York City, the Pentagon in Washington, D.C., and a field in western Pennsylvania. Many people risked their lives to help evacuate buildings and save trapped workers. The aftermath of the attacks was profound, as it didn't only result in almost 3,000 deaths, but also redirected thousands of passengers' flights who ended up stranded in foreign countries. In October of 2001, President Bush declared a war on terror, one that would remain active for the next 13 years. I don't know about you, but that sounds like a pretty solid 10% summary. So that is it.